In the last video, we sketched the path that we wanted this shape to be on. In this video, we're going to go through sketching the profile of, or the cross section of what we want to drag across that line. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be introducing an ellipse. An ellipse you can think of like an oval. It's going to be like creating a circle, but now we can stretch it either lengthwise or vertically. With an ellipse, though, we need to define or constrain the length in at least one of the axes. A lot of times we'll use like a horizontal constraint between the center and then the end of like the main axes, but we'll go through this in a second. So to start this, we're going to go ahead and we are going to create a sketch on our front plane this time. And I'm going to turn this, hopefully, so we can see this. Now, sometimes this can be tricky. We might even screw this up, but it's okay. And so you can see our front plane here. And what it wants us to do is we want to try to pick up this point right here. This is our path, and we want to start right at the edge of that path. And so we're going to go up here to ellipse, which it looks like this oval. We've got several options. If I click the down arrow, and we're just going to pick the first one, ellipse. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to try to highlight until it picks up that point, and I can see I've got my coincident relation there, so I know I'm on it. I'm going to click once and then I'm going to drag it out, and you can see now it's dragging it out along that plane that we created. So I'm just going to click here. So if I just click here, I'm going to click again. And what you'll see is if I highlight this circle, you can see there are 4 points around that. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some relations to hopefully make this more sense. And so if I click on my center point here, I'm going to hold my control key down, and I'm going to, I was still in the ellipse control. So I escaped out of that, and I'm just going to click on this, on the ellipse. Now I'm going to go click on my center point. I'm going to hold my control key down, and I'm just going to pick any one of these 4 points around the ellipse, and I'm going to click on that. And now I'm going to add a relation to that. So it's giving me 0.2 and 0.3, and we're going to make that horizontal. And what that did is now it made it even with that front plane that we put it on. Now we can add some dimensions. So I'm going to click the green check mark to get out of this, and smart dimension. And my first dimension, we're going to grab this point or this handle here and the one directly across from it. And that's going to be my horizontal dimension. And that should be 14 millimeters. And then we're going to grab, let me see if I can just turn this a little bit. We're going to grab this vertical dimension. So I want this handle and this handle of that ellipse. And here's our vertical dimension, and that's going to be 12. You can see it's black. We look down here, it's fully defined. And so now we can do our next step. So hopefully you can see now that this ellipse is centered along our path that we created before. And now that's what we're going to sweep. So we can go ahead and we can click OK, green dimension, and we can exit this sketch. So now we're ready to sweep this. So we're going to go up to Features, and this time we're going to select Swept Boss Base. And if I look at my flyout tree here, so you can kind of see here, we're going to use the sketch profile, which we created the sketch profile. And you can kind of see it here. This top one is this, you can see this little circle right here. That is our profile. And then this one is our path. And so our sketch 4 is our path, and that's what's highlighted. So for our profile. And so for our path, we need to select sketch 3. And now you can see that it gave us a preview of that. We want to look down on options. We want to make sure that we're merged. And so we're showing a preview and we want to merge result, which is correct. And now we'll just hit green check mark, okay. And now there's our first spoke. Okay, before we forget, let's rename this to spoke. And now I can back out of here. And actually, for the time being, if I want, I can hide this. I don't really need that at the moment. And now I want to pattern this. So we're going to do a circular pattern. So our direction, we just want it swept around that hub. And so I can really pick kind of any of this. I can even come in and pick this face. We want 360 degrees equal spacing. We'll do 3 instances. And then our features and face, we'll come up here to our flyout menu and we'll pick the spoke. And I'm getting a partial preview. If I want to make sure, I can click full preview. And now you can kind of see that it's outlined a little bit better. And then I'm going to click OK. And now there's our hand wheel with the 3 spokes. So if I want to look at this part, other than the view it is, we know that we can click our view orientation up here. I can also hold my middle mouse button down and I can rotate this all over the place. I can also select this rotate view, and I can also restrict that. Like right now I can move it in any direction, but if I come down here and I highlight, say, this edge, and instead of using my typical left mouse button, if I select it with my middle mouse wheel, you can see that it displays the rotate symbol. And now if I push down my middle mouse wheel again, it restricts it to that axis. And so I'm moving my mouse all over, but it doesn't move in any other direction except around that center axis. So, just something to keep in mind if there's something that you want to look at, but you don't want to move the part all over the place. And with that restriction, we can choose an axis, a line, an edge, a vertex, and I believe even a plane. All right, so next we're going to put some fillets in this where the spokes meet the wheel. All right, let's look at a couple different options. And so if we go up here to fillet and select that, first let's change this to 3 millimeters before we do anything else. And there's a couple different ways that we can select. So if I have my show selection toolbar selected, and I come up here and I select this edge between the spoke and the hub, I've got some options that come up in this toolbar. And I can select, here it says between right feature and part. I've got 2 other edges, and you can see in purple now, it gives me the other options if I select that. And what this does is it saves me time that I don't have to go and I don't have to select things individually. I've got that. I can do between left feature and part. So now it's selecting the inside hubs, between right and left, all 7 edges, and just the concave edges. If I delete this, I can also select this hub. And because this surface touches all the spokes, I'm automatically getting these 3 fillets where the spokes touch the inner part of that hub. I could also, let's delete this one more time. I can do Control A, your Control key, and then the letter A. Oops. And it's going to pick up all these edges anywhere that it can produce a fillet. I'm going to delete these. This is not the way the book wants us to do it, but I'm just showing you different options. And so if we come back here and we select an edge again and then we hover, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to select all concave 5 edges. And so what it's not doing is it's not getting these outer edges. Make sure they're on 3mm, right? And then we're going to click OK. And it created those. You know, the other thing I can do is I can also create a window if I wanted to by dragging my mouse key, and it would select any edges within that window where it could produce a fillet. Next, we're going to put a chamfer on this outer edge here, and to select that, we come up where it says fillet, but we're going to use this drop-down arrow and select chamfer. And once selected, you can see that we have some different options up here. This first one is an angle. We give it an angle and a distance. Here we have 2 distances. We can select a vertex. Here we can offset from a face a certain distance. And then this last one, it's a face-to-face. What we're going to do is we're going to select distance. We want to come down here and we want to do asymmetrical. So it means the 2 distances, the horizontal and the vertical distance, are going to be different. And this top one is going to be 4mm. And this bottom one is going to be 2mm per the book. Oops, not 29, 2. And then what do we want to chamfer? We want to chamfer this edge here, and it gives us a preview. And we're going to click OK.